Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodlers! We are the Matterhorn Yodlers. I am Japheth. Well, let me see that. Japheth. And I am here with...
Mrs. Claus? No, Jackie.
Ho ho, sheesh ho.
And that clues us into movie reviews of the Santa Clause movie trilogy.
It's become such a classic movie series. Like, I have a friend that she's like, I have to watch all Santa Claus movies every Christmas.
Wow, that's a huge commitment.
For me, it's just the first one, but I do see it as a Christmas staple movie. Mm-hmm. I think it's more. I feel it's a better staple for Christmas than Elf is, and I know that might be a controversial opinion.
I agree. I enjoy Santa Claus more than Elf.
House, and
we're not,
and we were kind of older. Like
we
Elf
were.
came out, and I was out of the house.
We were teenagers.
And so, I mean, we're big like Will Ferrell fans for that, but but like that, I was like, I'll pass.
Like if I had to pick a movie for like, I want to get in the Christmas spirit, it's totally the Santa Claus.
Yes,
absolutely.
It is the quintessential Santa Claus movie.
Wow,
in my opinion.
Is there another movie that you would pick for a Christmas movie that's like better or close to it? To get you in the Christmas spirit.
Get me in the Christmas spirit?
But the Christmas Story is really huge in my wife's family's house.
For me, I'm a big fan of Home Alone. I love watching Home Alone for Christmas.
Some good music. Yeah, I watched that today. She was getting the tree ready. We got the wreath. And we got the ornaments out. And she's like, put on Home Alone. And I was like, okay, I won't watch Love Island Australia. So we watch Home Alone, and it's really good.
It hits that right note with again, John Williams hits that right note.
It was like 3/4 away. I'm like, man, this sounds like John Williams. I type in composer for Home Alone. Yeah, John Williams picture pops up. Yep. So yes, if you have Disney Plus, you get access to Home Alone now. Yeah. So it's there for you, and they even have a new Home Alone, which I haven't watched yet. After Home Alone 3, I was just like,
it's. I would consider it more of a sequel to Home Alone 2, because you do see Buzz. Buzz is in.
Buzz is in there?
Yes, he's a police officer. There's like a little side...
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
There's a little side joke in there where, the police get called that there's a child at home, and he goes, ignore it. That's my brother. He does this every year. We left him at home alone for Christmas twice. Forget it. It's a prank.
Fun. So you watched it?
I did watch it.
Yeah. I like Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, do you like the 90s version?
Yes, absolutely.
With Matilda
version.
actress?
Yes.
It's a good one. We had to go buy that. I will throw Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in there.
Classic.
Yeah. That was one like put on CBS and right before.
Yeah.
It's like the first week in December.
Yeah,
that's when they do it.
That's when it normally was, yeah.
I always enjoy that. That gets me in the spirit of it. Okay, so Santa Clause movie trilogy. We'll start off with the first one. For those who are not familiar, I'll give a little brief synopsis, and then do you want me to do interesting facts, and then we can kind of go from thoughts about it as we go through it? Okay. All right. First movie came out in 1994. Divorcee Scott Calvin, who is played by Tim Allen, is disgusted to learn that his ex and her husband have tried and failed to break it easy to their 6-year-old son, Charlie, that Santa isn't real. On Christmas Eve, Scott reads The Nightmare Before Christmas, then receives an unexpected visitor on his roof. When he is startled by Scott calling out, he falls and Santa disappears, leaving the reindeers and sleigh in the suit. Scott Calvin puts on the suit, and the next year of becoming Santa Claus is, to say the least, exciting and troublesome, and it's ups and downs, and it explains everything
Yep.
about Santa Claus. If
Yeah.
there was ever a Santa Claus apologist like movie, this is it. It
Yes.
answers everything, and you're going, oh, I totally get it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any movie, any scenario has explained Santa Claus better than this movie.
I love the explanation Charlie gives his stepdad, or he's all like, he's like, well, have you seen $1 million? He goes, no. Well, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not real. And it's like,
Yeah.
very true. Bravo,
Yeah.
Charlie. You just outwitted a psychologist.
Very, very true. I love that line in there. Charlie is just adorable.
They did a great job casting Charlie. He's the perfect kid for that role.
It was fun. Tim Allen, I think he nails it.
Yes.
know.
Yes.
He nails the role of the dad that like he's not the perfect dad.
But he
he tries.
Yeah.
He tries, even though begrudgingly, he'll try.
You could see it when he's at the Denny's. He's trying to make it all
Yes.
excited. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, there's apple pie. There was.
Eggnog. No.
Well, the fact that, he has his kid Christmas Eve, and it's just the two of them, but he's still trying to do a big old meal.
I felt very impressed. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just got home late. And I'm going to do a turkey dinner. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Dude,
impressive.
those things take 4 hours to cook. I don't know how you're going to do that.
But, the effort that he does, and that, he was bummed that, they told Charlie, Charlie didn't believe in Santa Claus, and
Yeah. Some kids were picking on him.
yeah, and he was trying to make it up to him and still keep the magic alive for him.
It was fun. And I just loved Tim Allen's, apprehension, his first time going down the chimney, and
He had the approach that I think any person would have in that scenario.
he's just like, I guess we'll do this. All right.
Oh, fine.
Would you get up on the roof?
No. What the heck are you doing? Well, obviously, if my kid ran up on the roof, I would have to go up there.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I would pull up my cell phone and be like, help, I can't
1994, you're going to pull up the
Yeah,
cell phone.
that's it,
The flip phone, slap.
Yeah.
Let me get the antenna up.
Call the police and be like, there are reindeers on my roof. They would believe you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go through the whole thing, and I which is really fun, is that they go to the North Pole, they learn about this, they go to sleep, and then they wake up back
Back at home.
and
Back
so it
at
makes this kind of
home.
confusing for everybody. But Charlie is just dead set of no,
No, this is
Yes.
what happened.
this is what happened. And,
Yeah.
and so he goes on, and then I love how he progressively becomes Santa Claus over the time period.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the scene where he's at the doctor and he's just like, I've gained 25 pounds
In a week.
In a week. And he's like, well, we all gain a little. Does this look like a little weight?
It is, it's just hilarious, just that journey. I love the whole part where he's watching Charlie at the park and all the kids start lining up trying to talk to him, and he's like, no.
Can you kind of blame Neil?
Right.
You have the belief of no, I don't believe he's real. And then you're seeing,
Yes.
the step, or not the father, acting oh, I don't really have a relationship. Oh, act like I'm Santa Claus. I can see where he's coming. This man's delusional.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the issues I had growing up watching this movie, I've kind of, now as an adult with my own kids, I understand the logic behind it. I just did not get the whole logic of why are you taking away the dad's right to see his kid just because he wants his kid to believe in Santa? It's no, it's because he's literally turning into Santa to appease his kid. Okay, I understand that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see all those conflicted.
Yes.
And then, Charlie goes and, runs away with Scott to the North Pole.
Yeah.
And then I love the response by the police trying to find, Scott and Santa Claus by arresting all the Santa Clauses.
It's a rental. Yeah.
Can we talk about Bernard? He's one of my favorite elves.
Yeah, let's talk about Bernard.
Oh, I love Bernard.
He was a great character in the first
He's
movie.
sassy.
Yeah. You didn't like him in the second?
No, he wasn't the same Bernard.
No.
He was too chipper.
Okay.
We need a little more sass, a little bit more
Like he didn't have the same like posture that he did in the first one.
He's more jaded in the
Yes.
first one. That's what it is.
Mm.
And in the second one, he was like still like he was like so buddy with
I
Santa.
like Santa. I like this Santa as opposed to
Right.
being annoyed. Like,
Right.
you're a dime a dozen Santa, but I'll
Right.
keep living on. You know.
Right. That was kind of the general like vibe I got in comparison. But in the first one, absolutely, he was fantastic.
Growing up, I didn't like Bernard.
Oh,
I didn't like
yeah?
how he was mean. Yeah, and as I got older,
You relate.
I
You're
relate.
like, oh, I totally
get it.
I'm Bernard.
I'm jaded and like
I am
unhappy.
Bernard in the
and-
workplace. Like, who are you, new person? Like,
Okay, newbie.
Listen, Santa.
You accepted the job.
We'll send you the list. What list? And you can just see Bernard like, don't make me sick.
Right, exactly. Like we don't get that Bernard in the second movie.
So do you guys like the elves with attitude?
Oh, that was such a great fun scene. you
My
know?
favorite is when they're like they use the tinsel and the guy in the cell's like, can I have some of that tinsel?
Yeah, that was great.
We're elves with dude. All right, so I got some interesting facts. So Tim Allen, as Jackie had mentioned, it was his first movie. Did we mention this before?
No.
No,
Okay.
So,
we said it before we started recording.
So yes, it was his first film role. Disney made an exception for Tim's criminal background. He had been charged for, I think it was like felony possession, and so Disney had a whole like do not hire
Yes.
felons. But they made an exception for Tim.
I guess they were considering Tom Hanks as the
Oh, I've got a
role.
list
Oh,
of them.
yeah?
Let me get into it. All right. So Bill Murray was written in mind to play the role, but he
Right.
read it and he goes, not so much. And then Chevy Chase, Tom Hanks, Robin Williams, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Those who know who Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Batman.
Yeah.
Batman. And then Harrison Ford. Gosh, that would have been horrible.
That would have been a
Harrison
horrible.
Ford.
You'd be so bothered.
I'm Santa. Ho ho ho.
I would love to see just a clip of that.
That would be hilarious.
Just to see the little scenes, like the readings.
I could just,
He would just be like, Charlie, sit down.
I could just imagine,
Get off my
like,
sled.
I can imagine like Bernard going like talking back to me and be like,
He just
listen,
punches.
kid.
He beats him. Now, if you had Harrison Ford with like short stuff, like from Temple of Doom, that may be more fun. They had a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay, Dr. Jones.
you call him Santa Claus, y'all. So yeah, Patrick Swayze and Mel Gibson were rounding up the top of.
That's a
those.
lot of people.
That's what. Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I think Chevy Chase would have.
I
been all right.
thought
Robin Williams.
when you said Chevy Chase, I go, he could play that role.
yeah.
He could play that role pretty well.
Robin Williams could have done a really good job as well.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have, because like Robin Williams, he's such a unique character.
His energy.
Yeah.
Yes, and like Robin Williams good is when you give him like freedom, and I don't think this role really entitled
Freedom.
What are you talking about?
that-
Tim Allen and the elves. That dance by the Santa as they were walking down the hallway. That was totally improvised. So maybe Robin Williams would have been good for. No, I don't
No,
know.
I'm talking about like script.
Script. Yeah.
That's where Robin Williams. That's why he was so successful in The Genie. I think Patch Adams. He had a lot of freedom in like the writing and what he could say.
It would have been nice to get a
like-
Robin Williams Christmas movie. Because I don't think there is a Christmas movie with Robin.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I can't think of one.
If you know, let us know.
Yes.
If there's a Christmas movie with Robin Williams.
All right, so there are some cameos. There's one cameo with the director in the scene with the Santas as they are doing profiles for Charlie's mom to find the Santa Claus. The Santa Claus number 6, he is the director.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, let's see, there's a hidden Mickey in the moon as Scott and Charlie are leaving the North Pole in the sleigh.
Oh, fun.
And then there are hidden elves throughout the film, an open scene. There's a blonde girl at the window, the toy store. And then the Denny's, the little boy with a red scarf. It's an elf. And then Charlie's soccer game, a girl with a purple scarf. She's got...
Which kind of brings up the... I don't know. We can get into it after your facts.
The elves live among us.
No.
What if elves were one of us? No.
There's a Santa Claus theory.
Oh, whoa. Let's share.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's go for it.
So, in the first movie where, Santa Claus falls off the roof. And,
Yeah. That's how we get Santa.
And that's how we get Santa, or Tim Allen, or Scott Calvin as Santa Claus. Well, there was people who were saying, oh, he killed Santa. But there's this theory that, is it Father Time? So Father Time...
Father Time is Scott Calvin's
boss. So Father Time... so you have, the council of...
Imaginary
figures.
Yeah.
And,
or is it legendary figures?
I think it's probably legend.
Yeah.
It's
So they have the
figures.
power, you can tell in the third movie, they have the power to remove your responsibilities, like they were trying to do with Jack Frost.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this theory going around that they needed to replace a new Santa Claus because the original Santa Claus did the other escape clause, where he says, I wish I was never Santa again. And so the Santa on the roof was like a imaginary Santa almost.
A proxy.
Yes. And so the Father Time had been searching for a
suitable replacement.
A suitable replacement, and they found Scott Calvin, and then that's how you see...
Well, and this might... And maybe we'll talk more about
that kind of
this.
makes the third movie better.
When we talk about the third movie, that makes a little bit more sense in the sense of maybe we'll talk about that when we get to that movie.
Yeah.
So.
But because it does make sense because Santa Claus waves.
Yep.
In the first movie.
He does.
Yeah, he
waves
does. It's
goodbye
kind of
before he
creepy.
disappears.
He's like
Dead
"Hi."
Santa.
It's like, peace out, retirement! As he dissipates, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of my interesting facts, what I have for it. Is there anything you guys want to finalize thoughts on the movie?
First one's great.
First one is great.
We got Scott Calvin, a very, very relatable parent to connect with. There's a lot of things that he does, his mindset, and his ability, just trying to make his child happy. He's willing to do anything, including becoming Santa.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was one thing that I really took from this entire trilogy was that the role of Santa was very relatable.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jackie. How many Mickey bars do you rate this movie?
Probably 5.
A 5.
Yeah,
5
I
Mickey
could
bars.
watch it multiple
5.
times.
5. I gave it 4.5 just because I gave Rocketeer 5, and I was like,
I'll put this on Rocketeer
Yeah.
status.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is one I will watch every
And I will
year.
watch it each year, too.
If it's on, I'm glued to it. I'm watching it.
As much as I'm like, I already know this movie, and I'm like, this is so good.
Yes.
I think it is a top 5 Christmas movie.
Overall.
I think
Overall.
it is the best Christmas movie.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to number 2, Santa Clause 2. And I don't have the stats of how well it did, but they all made money.
Yes.
They
They were really good
all
at that.
did good.
So the synopsis of it is, so this is 2002, so it takes place 8 years in the future. Santa has to find a Mrs. Claus before his 10th year mark. A rogue automated Santa robot takes over at the North Pole while he's searching for Mrs. Claus, creating chaos until Scott comes back to save the day. Quick synopsis, right?
Yeah.
Sums it all up.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do some interesting facts. Toy Santa says, "You're a sad little man," which is a reference to
Toy Story.
Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear.
Sad, strange little man.
Yeah. This last movie, Bernard is seen in the movie.
Yes.
And it's because Bernard has he started the TV series Numbers. The actor.
Oh,
That's at the same time.
That's why he didn't make it.
It was gonna be hard to
Sure.
both.
No, I understand.
for the next one. Yeah, the next one comes in 2006, and that's about that time. Movie takes place in St. Paul, Minnesota. First movie was in Chicago area. And then Hidden Mickey in Santa's room before he gets the news from the elves about, like, the Miss Claus. So you can look for them and stuff there. How do you guys like the actress who plays future Mrs. Claus, the principal?
I like her.
Well, I mean, she's a very famous actress. I mean, she tends to do more television roles than she does movies. So, if you watch more television, you'll probably recognize her
She
more
was
there.
in what was it? Once Upon a Time.
She had a
She was the
role
Snow Queen.
she had a season in Once Upon a Time, the Frozen season.
Yeah.
She's in a lot. I think she was in, what was that show, V or whatever, with the aliens.
With
that
the
come.
aliens.
She was the lead in that one. Like, yeah, she does a lot of television. She was also in Lost.
I thought,
Oh, yeah.
She was in Lost.
I thought Tim Allen and her chemistry was good.
I thought it was great too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did well. Like, she's like the mean principal at first, but like obviously she does have a heart because she's a teacher, and
I
she
like to
just
call
cares.
this movie Santa Claus, the Hallmark movie.
You think it's Hallmark?
It's what it should have been, but I understand that this movie's for children, and that's why we have half the movie with Toy Santa.
Okay.
If this wasn't geared towards children, we would have gotten Hallmark, the Santa Claus.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
true. You could tell there's kind of like a cut scene at the end where like she kicks Tim Allen out and like they're no more, right? But then he jumps to the North Pole and he's doing stuff to fight Toy Santa, and then she comes back and she's like, "I believe."
Everything's just...
Someone showed me the snow globe.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, it's part of the movie that I enjoyed. I enjoyed that half of the movie of him, the romantic,
The magic of Santa.
and all that. Like, that was, like,
the
amazing.
because there's obviously like a magic and romance of Christmas that goes well together.
Yeah, and like Santa does set the bar high for everybody who wants to go on a date around Christmas. Like, oh, look, it's a sleigh
Right.
ride. Oh, our own little snow flurry. What are we, like, Olaf now? This is great.
Right.
And all the little gifts.
All the toys.
You can tell, like, this movie would have been better had it just been that one story plot, but I understand why it wasn't.
Because you'd lose all the kiddos.
Correct. The kids, they wouldn't care.
But you do have Comet. He was funny.
Oh, come
With
on,
the
it's
dynamic
fun.
with Charlie's stepsister.
Yes.
I don't know the name of the character, but she
Well,
was
it is
so
Charlie's
adorable.
sister.
Yeah, sister, but it's a
Yes.
No, it's sister.
a half sister.
Half sister.
Yeah,
Yes.
half sister. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, she is adorable, and like Comet's
She
like,
is.
"Wah, wah, 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 wah."
Him
and they
eating all the candy bars.
and they had the Nestle Circle
Yes.
once, and I remember when they had that because I remember we got it in our stocking one year, and I was like, oh, it takes me back
Oh, yes.
to like my childhood. Lucy, yeah, she was adorable
She was.
in this, and
I would say
she brings it back to the children element.
Charlie
Yes.
was the low point of the
He
movie.
was. He's like, "Ugh."
He was
Charlie kind of just dissipates, and I don't know.
like Charlie. It's because like I was literally talking about this with my aunt, who's probably listening to this. Not my aunt, my sister-in-law. Sorry, my kid's aunt. My sister-in-law and
Peter
like,
thinks you're an ant.
she is an aunt. And she was bringing up the point of that he was just his whininess was just because my dad's Santa and I can't tell anyone, so I'm gonna be rebellious.
I know, that was kind of like, ugh.
That's why I'm causing damage to property because my dad's Santa.
He's
He's
very
very
skilled.
skilled, I must say. I was like, wow, that's pretty
Quite
talented.
impressive.
And that girl totally is crushing on where she can hang out on the roof and watch him do his like I don't know any girl that would do that. I'd be like, here, wait out on the freezing roof, and I'm gonna be in the warmer building spray painting for 3
Well, I
or
think
4
that's
hours.
As the fumes go up to the
yeah.
window.
Oh, maybe that's what she wanted. Okay, so any other kind of tidbits? Are you happy with how it ended with like Toy Santa?
I must say I enjoyed the toy fighting the toy soldiers, even though it was like obviously they're pretty easy to like fight, but it was fun.
It had Hook vibes.
Yeah.
Where, you got the,
Yes.
with the Lost Boys fighting the pirates. It had that sort of vibe.
But it's fun. I like that. Yeah, I get that.
It was just a fun thing, and I enjoyed Toy Santa. I thought he was funny.
He's hilarious. He's like, rules, we have rules. And you have Curtis in there that's like, I like this Santa.
That's where you see, like, Tim Allen's, like, comedy coming out.
Yeah.
Was when he was playing Toy Santa.
It was fun. It was
Everyone
entertaining
gets
to watch.
cold.
It was, and he becomes a despot.
Yes.
So it was kind of fun to watch that. I
felt like it was two movies smushed into one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I totally wish they built them more like the first part of the romantic.
Like, I think that alone, because I feel like it was rushed. That whole, like, relationship, it was rushed. Like, at the start of the movie, he has, like, 20-some days. And then it just turns into, like, you got, like, 2 days.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
No pressure.
It's like time flied on this movie. A lot of time passed very quickly. So I felt like you could have made this into two separate movies, technically. But I understand why. But, yes.
Did you guys like Molly Shannon's, like, date with...
It was hilarious.
Oh,
With the Shania Twain singing.
Yes.
Can you imagine someone just starts busting out Shania
It's
Twain?
like, this is too much for me. It's like, I put myself out there. I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to start singing in the restaurant. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm Santa, and even that's too much for me.
I was like, my thought process when I saw that part, I was like, did she know that maybe the ex-wife gave her a tip of like, he really likes Christmas?
I love how she's wearing Santa Claus and you can see
It's
Tim
his
Allen's
face.
face on there.
Absolutely.
And you're just like, that's just weird. Can you imagine, like, if that movie takes place now, if, like, Santa Claus is on, like, Tinder, and he's, like he's going through, trying to like, no, she's crazy, no.
Jewish.
Oh, I can take over 2 holidays at that point. So, okay. Let's rate it. What do you got for it, Peter?
I'm giving it a 3.
3 Mickey bars.
I'm giving it a 3.
I'd do the same. 3 Mickey bars.
I actually went higher. I give it a 4. I enjoy it. I may watch it
It's not
over other Christmas movies. Like, I
Yeah.
put on, like, Ernest Saves Christmas, and I'm like, boy,
This didn't age well.
this didn't age well. I was like, this is hard. It was hard to convince my wife to keep it going.
What? That one was partially filmed at Disney World.
Yeah.
It's not the second one is not like an every year Christmas kind of
You
movie.
can put it in the background and have it.
But
yeah.
it's okay movie, like put on the background, make cookies.
Okay, maybe I'll put it down to like
Christmas.
a 3.5. Like,
Yeah.
but I really do enjoy the love story. I
Yes.
like how they
Yes.
explain
That's why it got a
Mrs.
3.
Claus, and I'll take a half star away because Charlie was not very good.
He wasn't.
They could have done a better job with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to Santa Clause 3, made in 2006. Santa Claus, aka Scott Calvin, is faced with a double duty of how to keep his new family happy and how to stop Jack Frost from taking over Christmas. And so,
Bum, bum,
bum, bum, bum. So Mrs. Claus, she is expecting, but she's lonely being up in the North Pole. Do you get hooked with this kind of dilemma with her? With
Totally.
Astoria?
Oh
Totally
yeah,
understand
she's
that.
just around elves all the time. She's like,
She gets excited to see, like, oh, big people.
yeah.
And so that introduces us to her parents, who's like Ellen Arkin. I don't know the mom. You've seen her.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. Do you like the parent dynamic? Do you think it's a little too much sometimes, how they're like really mean to him, or just...
No, I think it's appropriate for like an in-law.
Yeah, I mean, it is they do play the stereotypical in-law role. where they're like, "Oh, you're not good enough for my daughter," sort of vibe. But or like, "Oh, we never get to see her anymore
But
because
from
of
their
you."
point of view, is it's true though. Got whisked away to the North Pole.
I do like how they like fought the sleepy Worf. I just call him Worf in my mind.
Oh, Worf,
the actor
yeah,
that plays
the
Worf.
Sandman.
Oh,
Sandman.
Sandy.
Yeah, and he blows them to sleep and.
I liked when the mother-in-law was talking to Jack Frost, and he was all like, "Sing the song." It was like Jack Frost nipping at my
Stop. Go back.
Go back. He's like, "Do you want to be my elf?" That's a serious question.
So yeah, so we have that dynamic of like the family. You bring in, the ex-wife and Neil. Charlie's not in this, so we lose Charlie.
He's skiing with his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what. And then you bring Lucy. They go up to the North Pole and get to experience it for the first time.
I think they were trying to replace Charlie's from the first original movie, like that cuteness with
Lucy.
With Lucy.
Oh, of course you do it.
Well, because Lucy probably performed better in the second one with the audiences than Charlie did.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, Charlie's
And plus,
too old.
Charlie's a teenager,
He's graduated from high school.
Yes, like he can't be the kid that saves the day. I'm gonna warm Jack hey Jack, I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna give you a
get
hug.
off me, bro. Get off me.
I'm gonna give you a hug. It's gonna warm you up.
So we bring in Jack Frost. He's a member of the
Society of
Legendary,
or the Council of Legendary Figures.
and we're introduced to this in the previous movie.
Yes,
But you got like the Tooth Fairy.
and they all came back.
They all came back.
They all came. I was surprised to see that all the people who were in the second movie came back and did it for the third movie. So
They were good. Yeah, Mother Nature, Father Time. You have
Sandman, Easter Bunny, Cupid, Tooth Fairy.
The actor who played the Tooth Fairy, he just passed away.
Yeah, he did.
Within the last few weeks.
He did.
I saw that, and I was all like, I was like, oh wow, yeah.
And I will say this, going back to that, I loved Santa and his relationship in the second movie.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
The
Molinator.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I would totally, I'm like, I've been in those situations, like going back to the second movie.
To convince the Tooth Fairy that you're Santa Claus?
No, I've been in that situation where like you're in a group setting, like in a council or whatever, and you got the one guy that's got the craziest idea, and it's not going to pass. You're like, I'm with that guy. And I totally do that. I totally be like, that's a great idea. I vote we change the Tooth Fairy's name.
Molinator.
No.
All in favor? And then you're like, well,
I tried.
I was with you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm with you. We're friends. So yeah, he has, Jack's trying to get his own holiday, and they're like, no.
Oh, and he calls him the Molinator in the third movie.
Does he?
He does. He goes, hey, Molinator.
Because what do you lose? I mean, the guy
Yeah.
saved the day. But Scott's got to go back to the real time, or back to the real world, and get the family up, and so Jack's got to take over. Jack creates chaos in the toy room so he can perform his coup.
Stress.
Yeah, he can do a coup d'etat to take over Christmas. There's the escape clause where if Santa's holding the snow globe and he says the words, I forgot what it was.
I wish I was no longer Santa.
Yes.
Anymore.
Something like that.
And then, whoosh, he goes back to what he would have been, which is a mean toy maker, or, a CEO type that doesn't care much about family
Christmas,
or toys
yeah.
or Christmas. Yeah. And so, where do we go from there? And then at that point, Scott's got to go back and, convince Jack, who's now Santa Claus, to do what he just did to him in order to save the day, which he does with his recording pen.
He pulled a Judy Hopps.
Yeah.
Or I guess Judy Hopps pulled a Scott Calvin.
That's
Yeah.
true. It is. That's what it is, isn't it?
Mhm.
With the little carrot pen.
Yep.
Judy Hop.
Yep.
It's a Zootopia reference.
Yep.
And then at that point, all is fixed. Everybody knows that. The parents know that Scott Calvin's actually Santa Claus, and that they're not actually in Canada, and that those are really elves and not really short Canadians.
And his reaction of the father-in-law finding out that he's Santa Claus, and he's like, "Wow, whoa, whoa!"
Alan Arkin's great for that.
Oh, he's so good.
He's
I
like,
love
"What is
him.
it? What was it? What did he call himself?"
He's like, whoa, if you're Father Christmas, that makes me Father Christmas father-in-law. Yeah.
So that was a fun line, and then it ends with Mrs. Claus having the baby, and you get cute little videos.
Yes.
Like, oh, there. Okay, so I got interesting facts. Originally, Bernard was supposed to show up at the end and to arrest Jack, but they decided on the redemption of Jack. They wanted to kind of end on a good note instead of just making Jack Frost a criminal. And then the answer in Mrs. Claus's math question is 3 hours. So here's the question. Object moving one direction at 20 miles per hour. It takes 3 hours to travel 60 miles an hour. Another object, opposite direction. So going 50 miles an hour takes 3 hours to go 150. 60 plus 150 equals 210 miles. And so the answer is 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So that's all the interesting facts. There was not
Yeah.
much. There really
The
wasn't.
third movie was not as great as the first two.
I think it only cost them like $12 million. They did it all in a studio. They went to like a middle school and they're like, "Who wants to be in the Santa Claus movie?" They're like,
Probably.
It's like Tim Allen made $6 million and then they paid everybody else.
I will say this. That North Pole dome gets bigger and bigger every movie.
You noticed that?
I did notice that.
Jeez.
Like the first one was just barely covering the toy shop, and then the next one it's a little village, and then the next one was like it's over mountains and ski rate. Like it's like, oh, okay.
The scope has
He's
grown.
been the Santa Claus for a while. He's got to expand and grow.
He's like, guys, we gotta invest in property, expand.
Look at all this land
There's
up
so
here.
much land up here. Why are we tucked in?
It's like, instead of building up, let's go out. All right, so let's rate this movie and kind of wrap this up. What do you got, Jackie?
2.5.
2.5.
If you would have asked me before I rewatched it, I would have said 1. After watching it again, looking at it from all angles, was it a perfect movie? No.
Was it a money grab? Yeah.
Yes. Was it a money grab? Was the story good? I enjoyed the story.
I thought the message behind it had like that It's a Wonderful Life vibe to it.
Yes, that's very true.
And so I really like that, like it made him appreciate the work that he was doing as Santa.
Kind of a refresh.
Yeah, he needed that refresh because it's stressful to be Santa. Like you got to see that aspect of Santa that we don't normally get to see necessarily. And in that refresh of like, this is what it's all about. Like, I love doing this.
Yeah.
I'll never do anything else. I don't care how stressful it is. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. So I'm giving it a 3.
Whoa.
I know. I'm
Okay.
putting it at the same level as I would Santa Claus 2.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm surprised by that.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 2. It's okay. I think this may be my 3rd time watching it. I actually saw it in the theater on a date. And I remember walking away going, it was okay. So, yeah, it was okay. I don't really have too much to add to it. I'm kind of glad they haven't made any more. It kind of really, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they haven't made any sequels, and it's not with Tim Allen. That would be so sad and weird.
Don't be surprised. With Disney Plus, we'll get some reboots. We'll get a
Yeah,
reboot
we'll
of
get
it
a
eventually.
reboot of it,
I
probably.
hope not. This is one that just can you just leave this Santa Claus alone? Okay, so if we did reboot with modern day, do you guys have a Santa Claus you think that would be funny? Like a dad
I can see
role?
them bringing Charlie back.
Oh, don't make Charlie knocks his dad
Charlie,
off the roof.
Charlie
Gets really
Santa.
dark. I'm in family business. Bye, Dad. No, Charlie.
No, going back to the Santa Claus theory, that's not how it works.
Well, well, that's you knock him off and gotta have Santa. He jumps on and puts the suit on.
Knowing Disney would probably cast someone like The Rock or something like that. You know, like you get the big tough Santa.
Or they would do like a Easter Bunny one.
Or you could do like a Chris
Tooth
Pratt.
Fairy.
Well, The Rock has already played the Tooth Fairy.
that's
in one.
true.
He has. You do like a Chris Pratt. He would be fun doing it.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really put much thought into
I was like
possible
probably,
replacements,
yeah.
but
I thought it was funny how they named the child Buddy.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's the Buddy the Elf and the Elf movie.
Oh, never thought about that.
yeah, didn't draw that connection. Everything goes full circle. We started talking about Elf, and now look at that.
Yeah.
All right, so that concludes our podcast on the Santa Clause Trilogy. Let us know, is it as special to you guys and your
Traditions.
and your traditions during Christmas? Does it get played, you know, to get you in this Christmas spirit, or is it one of those like if it's on, it's on, you know, kind of I'll let it play out. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts on it. You know, is Santa Clause 3 is it better than what, you know, than what we're saying it is, or is it worse? Let us know. Please follow us on our social medias. You know them.
We say them every time.
Every
Instagram,
time.
Facebook, email us. We're here if you want to talk to us.
Please, someone message me.
It's the holidays.
Wish us a Merry Christmas or anything, guys.
All we're gonna talk about are, you know, the Star Wars Christmas special and with those creepy like Wookiee babies.
Yeah, those are creepy Wookiees, that's for sure.
George is like, I'm going to sue you for defamation.
George was very clear. He had nothing to do with the holiday special.
He's like, I better have a better hand in this. Okay, well that concludes our podcast, and have a magical merry day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.